Hey guys, Icy here, and in this video I want to talk about each of the 10 races that are available in ESO and see which ones are the best for PvP healing. I won't be mentioning the max stats, but just their passives that I think make them unique. Timestamps will be in the description below. So in my honest opinion, strictly for healing in PvP, I think all of the races are viable. Now I did put together a template within the ESO build editor. I did a comparison of all the races using the Radiating Regeneration skill as a Templar, wearing Chokethorn, Beckoning Steel, and Hades. The Mundustone was set to the Ritual, 64 points into Magicka for my attributes, CP was disabled, Battle Spirit was enabled, and my active buffs were Major Mending, Minor Mending, and Weapon Damage Enchant, and I was using a Powered Restoration Staff. For overall healing output, the High Elf will always be number 1, followed by the Dark Elf and Argonian. This is because they have 2 passives each that grant a bonus to healing through either Max Magicka and Weapon Spell Damage, or Max Magicka and Healing Done. The Orc, Breton, and Khajiit only have 1 passive that can boost healing, and the Orc comes out on top because spell damage grants a slightly better return on healing output than Max Magicka. And finally, the Imperial, Nord, Redguard, and Wood Elf are all the same because they don't have any of the passives that can boost your healing, which, as I just said, are spell damage, healing done, and Max Magicka. So when you compare the High Elf to the Wood Elf, it's only a 2k difference in healing output, which I would consider negligible, but if you look at it in terms of a full 15-minute BG, that could easily be the difference of 100 to 200k. Now, should everyone be running High Elves for PvP healing? I don't really think so. It all depends on the style that you want to play. The 10 different races that we have to choose from should just accentuate how you want to play, and I'll run through the list here just to give you some examples. The Argonian has the Resourcefulness passive that gives them 3000 health, magicka, and stamina whenever they drink a potion. This is pretty cool because you can combine this with the Tri-Stat potion for massive resource return, or you can just use any other type of potion you want, like the immovable potions, since you'll always be getting resources back thanks to that passive. The Breton has all the perfect passives for PvP healing when it comes to sustain, since all of our abilities are magicka based. Spell Attunement is also a fantastic defensive passive for PvP, since you won't have a problem getting debuffed, and if you wanted to run a vampire healer, I think it works best as a Breton because the Magicka Mastery passive helps cancel out a lot of the vampire cost increases up to stage 3. The Dark Elf is ranked number 2 in healing output. If you don't have sustain issues as a vampire PvP healer, then this would be my second recommendation because of the Resist Flame passive, which would help combat the flame damage increase you get for being a vampire. The High Elf is ranked first in healing output, and they have an interesting form of sustain with the Spell Recharge passive, which actually allows me to run a stamina ability on my Sorc healer, which is something I don't normally do because I can't really afford to use abilities to consume my stamina pool. And the 5% damage reduction when channeling is nice if you want to run an ability like Borrow Time. The Imperial, unfortunately, doesn't really have anything exciting except for the Red Diamond passive, which will reduce all your ability costs by 6%, and this does include your ultimate. This is also another solid choice if you wanted to be a vampire PvP healer. The Khajiit are also kind of lame, but they have that Feline Ambush passive, which will boost their critical healing by 12%. So if you were going to make a crit healer build, then a Khajiit would probably be your first choice. Now the Nords are at the bottom of the healing spectrum, but they have very nice defensive options coming from the Resist Frost and Rugged passives, and if you're a fan of all generation, then the Stalwart passive is going to be perfect. The Orcs would definitely be an odd choice, I think, for a PvP healer. The Unflinching Rage passive allows you to heal yourself every 4 seconds, which is nice. I'm not going to say no to that, but the Swift Warrior passive I think would be great for a healer in Cyrodiil, since you are going to be doing a lot of sprinting around. However, I am a big fan of using Snow Treaders in BGs, and those boots would make this passive useless. The Redguard I think could make a solid choice for a healer that used a bit more stamina based abilities like Echoing Vigor, Bone Surge, or even Ring of Preservation because of their Adrenaline Rush passive. And the Martial Training passive is pretty awesome because it can help encourage people to use more of the Restoration Staff or the Sword and Board abilities thanks to that 8% cost reduction, which also does lower the cost of ultimates like Life Giver. The Wood Elf I would put in a similar boat to the Redguard when it comes to stamina sustain, allowing them to use more stamina based abilities. The Hunter's Eye passive is nice for that increase to your base movement speed, and both in Cyrodiil and certain BG maps, the Acrobat passive is super useful to help reduce that fall damage. So, what's the end result? Honestly, I don't think it really matters. High Elves have the highest healing output, but I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker on whether or not you live or die. If you want to be tanky and have more ult gen, play as a Nord. If you like stamina stuff, play as a Redguard. If you keep dying from fall damage too much, play as a Wood Elf. If you want to be a vampire healer, Breton, Dunmer, or even the Imperial are going to be your best options. But I'll say it again, all the races are viable. You just need to find out how you want to play and then pick the race that fits your personality. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Let me know what your favorite race is in the comment section, and I will see you guys on the next one. See ya.